his snoring started, well, I think he snored since we've been married.
My snoring got so bad that I was relegated to another bed or a couch. And that progressively became the case. One time I remember my wife brought in a recording.
Listen to this. And he was like, what is that? Is it some animal? No, it's you. You're snoring. He couldn't believe it. It was horrible.
And you didn't disclose that to me at first.
No.
You had me listen to it and then would watch my reaction, and as I was trying to guess what it was.
He thought it was like a dying animal or something. Where did I find this noise?
I had never heard anything like it before, ever. I knew there was a problem. I didn't know it was that bad. It did convince me that I was snoring terribly.
It was bad. It was really bad.
It was bad.
I would lay and listen to him, and he would stop breathing. And I would take a breath, and finally it's that gasping breath.
How often would that happen?
Not a lot, but it happened,
You're not going to make me feel bad. The problem's fixed. I was worried that I might have sleep apnea, and I wanted to try other things other than get dependent upon that. I like to hike, try to be active, and I was worried about it, a lot of camping. So I would try those things, and I was uncomfortable when I would sleep, and it did not work. It was more expensive than what I ultimately found. And then got to the point where I talked with my doctor about it. My blood pressure was high, and they wanted me to go take a test. I didn't want to take those sleep tests. I was afraid of what it would find, candidly. And so I never really did get tested, but I knew because of the many times I was waking up and the reports from my wife that it was progressively getting worse. If you were tired and you were worried about getting up early the next day, you would constantly remind me that I've got to go sleep somewhere else. And didn't you feel like it interrupted that routine a little bit?
Yeah, but not only that, I had to go to bed earlier than you. I had to be asleep when you came to bed. Otherwise, I could not go to sleep. The snoring started right up. And sometimes throughout the night, then if I did wake up and there was snoring, it didn't matter if it was a lot of snoring or just a little, I could not go back to sleep.
And I'd forgotten about that. That was an important part because we'd want to read or watch a movie or talk about something, and she felt the need before ZQuiet to get in and get to sleep. And so she was conflicted, I would think, a little bit, because if I'm going to sit and talk with Mark and spend some time, he may fall asleep before I do, and it's all over if that happens. And it would amaze me because she would hit me or poke me, and apparently I was snoring before I felt like I was asleep. There would be times like I would be thinking something and I would get poked, and she'd say, "You're snoring again."
And he would say, "I'm not even asleep." And I would say, "Well, you're snoring." I have a problem with people smacking and chewing their food with it drives me crazy. It hits a nerve and I can't. It makes me crazy, and that's what the snoring did. It would make me crazy. And then you would start to just get irritated. Little things that start, just would bug you. Sometimes I would lay in bed and think, why doesn't he just start out in the other room tonight? Because I don't want to be bothered by this. Sorry. That's
okay.
True.
That's all right.
I would think that.
Thank you, ZQuiet.
It just never ceased. I couldn't concentrate on anything. I couldn't even think about. I couldn't have my own thoughts because it overtook everything, and I had to keep pushing or kicking, waking him up. And after he would wake up, maybe there were 10 minutes or 15 minutes before he would start snoring again. And I would hope I would fall asleep during that time, but if I didn't, it just made for a long night. And then after about 4 or 5 times of me pushing, and he would get up and go into the other room and sleep. And then I slept great.
The great thing about ZQuiet for me has been that I considered it a natural solution without surgery, without drugs, without having to worry about mechanical apparatus or being dependent upon having the tanks with you and where that's going to be, and also the perception that carries with it. If you're going somewhere and meeting someone and you're carrying these things in, things may not be said, but the perception probably is not one that I wanted. And I was watching TV and saw a television advertisement for ZQuiet. And I'd worn mouthpieces in wrestling and football, and I had tried the nose strips that go across as well. That hadn't worked. So as they explained it on the commercial, that seemed to ring true with me and make sense. And the price was good, so I called and ordered one. And it only took, honestly, probably 2 nights to get used to having something in my mouth. And from then on, it was very natural for me. I like that I don't have anything that impedes where I want to sleep. My positions, I can choose any position and sleep with it. I get to wake up, and there's really no soreness. I mean, there's an adjustment that takes place, but it's been a great product.
Oh, like the first night he used it, you slept with it in your mouth the whole night, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I slept great.
You slept great from the first night that I
Started using it.
ZQuiet.
Yeah. And now it's not a problem. He can come in, go to bed whenever he wants to go to bed, as long as he comes in quietly and doesn't turn the lights on. Or we can go to bed at the same time. He puts the mouth guard in and we fall asleep. It's great.
The ZQuiet is, for me, freedom. It's allowed me to continue to do what I want to do and not be tethered, because I really thought that's where it was going for me. And that's probably the best explanation. It's allowed me to maintain my lifestyle and do the things that I want to do. It is so easy. It is natural. I wake up refreshed. I wake up with fresher breath because I'm salivating. I've noticed that. They don't tell you about that on it, but that's been an advantage. And I can throw it in when I go. I love to backpack. I go up to the UNs. I can throw it in the backpack. It's light. It doesn't infringe on any of those situations to travel with. And it allowed us to sleep in the same bed. But I think more important than that, you have a routine. You put your kids down to bed and you come. That's the time that you're going to have your downtime together as a couple and talk and go over the day and what you're going to be going on, and then you have those good conversations aside from just before you go to sleep. This was, when I was snoring, it tended either subconsciously or whatever to interrupt that a bit. And you didn't know if you were, depending on how tired I was, whether I was going to sleep. And if you went away to a vacation or you went to a family reunion, that made it more difficult as well, because you're trying to plan for where you're going to sleep if things become a problem. She doesn't sleep well. When I snore, you're more irritable. And a week of that, by the end of the weekend, and she's tired, you're doing less together as a couple and more irritable. It's helped that way. With ZQuiet, at the beginning, I was able to notice that I had a lot more energy. You're sleeping through the night and able to have more energy and go and do things that you normally couldn't do. For probably years past, I wasn't able to do with the energy that I wanted. Coaching my kid at soccer, staying up later if I have cases that I have to do, and then being able to bounce back the next day.
I hope he slept good too, because he couldn't have been sleeping good. He couldn't have. It is all about me, though. You know it is.
When your wife's happy, the whole household is happy. That sounds cliche, but that's true. It is so true.
Yes, that's true. And I'm happy now. Okay. We have been married now for 21 years, and today is our anniversary, and we are very happy now, sleeping through the night together in the same bed.